Hard times rolled in, but the people stayed strong, finding hope in a story, a dance, or a song. From the silver screen's glow to a radio show, the 30s kept swinging through highs and through lows. Amp in the time machine, come take a ride through the 1930s with style and stride. Books, films, and fashion, the songs that remain. We regret nothing, the past calls our name.
Welcome back to We Regret Nothing. I'm your host, Sean, and today things get serious. Over the last 2 episodes, we've worked our way through 20 of the most influential films of the 1930s. Now, we're down to the final 10. And by the end of this episode, only 5 will earn a place in the space capsule sent into space to represent this decade. Let me just start with what's still standing. So, Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Scarface, M, Freaks, The Thin Man, Frankenstein, All Quiet on the Western Front, and It Happened One Night. These films didn't just entertain. They defined genres, pushed boundaries, and helped audiences escape during one of the most turbulent decades in modern history. Joining me once again are Andrea and Michelle, and today I'm asking them the hardest question yet. Which 5 movies best capture the heart, innovation, and legacy of the 1930s? I have a feeling there will be passion, there will be disagreements, and yes, at the end of it all, we will regret nothing. So, let's make the cut. Welcome, Michelle.
Hello,
Hello, Andrea.
Sean.
Let me just start with overall thoughts. Michelle, do you have any thoughts about kind of the top 10 list as a whole?
I just, when I was looking back at it, I just think we've done these lists for other categories in the past decade, but I think this list is kind of the most diverse list we've had. We've got a little bit of everything on this 10, which is going to make it super hard to narrow it down, because when there's stuff that's kind of similar, you can go, I'll take this one instead of this one. But this one, I'm already hyperventilating. I'm like, it's not gonna be great.
And if you don't know by now, listener, that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadist.
So let's get started with number 1. And again, this next 10 are in no particular order, but it's just kind of how we voted on them. But number 1 is Gone with the Wind. Andrea, any thoughts, any more about Gone with the Wind?
When do I get a vote?
At the end of the episode. Don't break the rules.
That's like telling the sun not to shine.
Boy, you're bringing some energy to this, Andrea.
I don't have anything really other than what I said when we originally brought this up. There is so much. I mean, it's a saga, and I feel that it does do a great job of representing the 30s in the way of like the movie Intermission, which when I used to go to movies, they still did with some.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, Michelle.
Yeah, I think it's, maybe the first big epic, the first big epic film that people went to in droves.
Yeah.
Right. There were some 20s movies that were epic in scale for the time, but I think this is the first one that really people, kind of went bananas for.
Yeah.
I will say that when I think of this movie, 2 words that always come to mind other than fuck the South, the racist, like Confederate South, those were 2 words. There was a lot more there. No, seriously, is saga and sprawling.
Yeah.
That is it, and it gets away with it.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a question for each of you. We'll just start with Andrea. But is this movie a romance?
No,
Michelle.
no.
Don't take it. How dare you?
You can't bully the panelists? Michelle,
Again, like asking the sun not
Not to shine.
Michelle.
Um,
So
if you take it in the purest sense of the word romance, right? It is, but it's not about the love interest part of it so much. I don't think. I think it's a love letter to the old South. Not that that's a good or bad thing. That's up to you to decide, viewer. But it's romantic, right? The scale of it, there is a love story in it, but it's a tumultuous, weird ass love story. And so, yes. Is it a romance the way we think about like a rom-com? No.
Okay.
But it's romantic. It's nostalgic.
I see what you're saying.
Longing in it. There's that, yes. So
He is pursuing her throughout what she has 3 or 4 husbands, but he is pursuing her. And then in the end, she's pursuing him, but she pursues him when he says, "You can fuck off."
Yeah.
But
so I think
yes. But I would never. It wouldn't be something I would lean it. It's not about time. It's not a romantic movie I'm going to lean into.
Yeah, but if I saw it in the romance section in a movie store, like we used to categorize at the video store, no, I would not put it in that section.
Yeah.
That's a better answer to what the question I was trying to ask is everywhere that I look this movie up, it every single place, I didn't, without exception, call this a romance.
Well, yeah, they're listed. Scarlett and Rhett are like always listed in like the top 25 of the best screen couples. And I'm like, they're not even a fucking couple till the end. And it's gross. And it's like,
yeah, not,
no, there's nothing. Yeah.
Okay. So let me jump back into Andrea. Well, both the panelists kind of mentioned this in their own way, but I'll lean into it. So this movie originally released in 1939. My belief, I'm not speaking for the podcast or other panelists, but this film romanticizes slavery as a benign and I would say benevolent institution. This movie presented this nostalgic, idealized view of plantation life, portraying the Confederacy's defeat as a tragic loss and cementing the lost cause mythology. And I would call it, it's just the myth of the lost cause in the American consciousness. This influenced Confederate symbols. So again, the Old South, to Andrea's point, is portrayed as an ideal society of wealth and dignity that was absolutely destroyed by an unjust war. And also characterized enslaved people as happy and carefree members of their enslavers' family. So I would just like to officially call bullshit, right, on a lot of this. But so the movie itself, still the highest grossing film in history when adjusted for inflation. So that's
James Cameron, fuck you.
Oh boy, this
not your
she
bullshit.
is
She's spicy.
I am
spicy. But this movie as well, if we're going to go back to the whole point of this podcast, and so this movie does continue to have a profound impact on the way that mainstream audiences visualize the antebellum South, the Reconstruction period. Again, Andrea mentioned it, whether you agree with it or not. The male and female lead of this movie are always mentioned about, so again, just lasting. I just want to say one more thing. I don't want to go too long on this, but I didn't realize something, and it's not funny. It's just a fact. But this movie was a national sensation before it even started because they were trying to cast. We talked about this before. They were trying to cast a female lead. The New York Times actually dubbed this a national emergency, casting the lead of this movie. But then 1,400 women were auditioned, and then there was a lot of buzz around Katharine Hepburn. We talked about Betty Davis, Paulette Goddard, but the role ultimately went to Vivien Leigh. This is what I didn't know.
She's not an American.
Vivien Leigh is a British actress, and at the time had limited screen credits. So everyone was up in arms, but especially Southerners, who were less than thrilled with her casting. And then before the movie starts shooting, Vivien Leigh's preparation, she actually says to a reporter, she doesn't know what a June bug is. And so the South lost their minds, apparently. And Georgians, residents of Georgia, started to mail specimens of June bugs to her at Selznick International Studios in Culver City. this actually caused an agricultural mess. The influx of these caused the California Agricultural Commission that they had to protect the western peach buds from June bugs.
Americans are really just the worst.
So
We were like, fuck this bitch. Let's
I'm gonna go with the South and Georgia. Like
the post office actually
fucking
had
dumb.
to formally request the residents of Georgia to stop mailing June bugs to California.
I am going to pay money because you have to buy a stamp. I'm gonna do.
This is the best.
Betty Lee and
This is
Ricky
why we
Bob.
should never get rid of the USPS. God bless. They were mailing bugs across the country.
Fucking dum-dums.
Okay, so Gone with the Wind. We're off to a good start. That was fun.
Fantastic.
Fucking
Okay.
dum-dum.
Number two, Andrea, the Wizard of Oz, Michelle.
Oh. This is kind of the same thing, right? Hadn't seen anything like it. It was, hyped to the moon before it came out. I mean,
Got a young girl addicted, fucked up her whole life and her kids and her husband.
again, Americans not giving a shit about any of that.
Oh, America. We won.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how going forward, like kind of the same thing with Gone with the Wind. People still quote this movie. Iterations of the characters show up in places, right? People still say there's no place like home, right? I mean, there's
You guys win trivia based on it.
Well, by a slim margin, but and you know why? It's because of this podcast.
Yeah.
There were times Sean and I, sorry everybody, looked across the table at each other and we were like, oh no, God, we talk about this. But yeah, it's the same. It's a grand scale. There's not a question about whether or not this influenced movies then and, for ongoing.
Andrea.
Everything Michelle said.
Okay.
I will add that since I have a reputation though, I'm not a fan of this movie, but I think it's locked into some things. There's just the flying monkeys scared the fuck out of me. I think
Same.
somebody that I very much admire and like, this is like her favorite movie ever, and someone I very much do not like and do not admire. This is her favorite movie ever. To me, it's a scale of, it's shocking who likes this movie, but I rarely meet anybody who doesn't. So
I feel like this is super polarizing. I think people either love this movie.
See, I never get to meet one of my
they
people.
do not.
You live with
I'm
one.
kind of in the middle,
Yes,
right?
but
It's like, it's fine, right? But I think of it more favorable. Jesus Christ. I like it more because
Oh, wow.
what's in this?
Mm.
Because I associate it with a positive thing.
yes.
Right? I watched it at Thanksgiving time
Yes.
with my grandparents, right?
That is why I do have a little bit, because
But
my
I think
mom
the
and I
movie
would
itself,
curl
like,
up.
it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if you associate it with something different, or you're just like, this is fucking stupid and I don't like it.
See, and I don't think it's.
I feel like for
and I-
most people, it's one or the other. They
Yeah.
either love it
I
or
just
they
don't
hate it.
care for it, but it's not like I see why people do like I see the appeal in it. I see why people would see the appeal in it. I do not, but to say you don't like this movie to someone who does is like, I have gotten like fucking pearl clutching and gasps of like, and I'm like, I didn't say that I like to beat little kids. I said that I don't fucking like this movie. Like you
To
said,
that
polarized.
point, find someone on the street who doesn't know what this movie is, who's never heard
You're
of
right.
this movie.
You're right. Lucky people.
I mean, good luck.
You're right.
Good
You're
luck.
right.
Because if you just ask the question, do you like The Wizard of Oz? They're not going to go, the what? Right? They're going to have an answer,
Yeah.
yes or no. But I mean,
What's
the
funny is
exception of
like,
even little kids.
Yes.
Even little kids.
Little
have seen it
kids.
because it's in the.
there's little kids that know of it because they know of Wicked, and they're like, my mom went and saw Wicked 27 times with her friends
Yeah,
at
and
the Fifth
also, if you're a
Avenue.
responsible
And,
parent, I think you have to tell them where it came from. But,
Yes,
I mean, just
I
you know,
agree. I
School,
agree.
School of Rock theory.
But as
You
we
have to
talked
tell
about
them
this
where that came from.
when we were talking the other day, like when we were talking about Oz the Great and Powerful, and I'm like, but in the book it's Oz the Great and Terrible, there was a whole thing we had.
Okay. So you all have bounced around some of these, but whatever order you want to take them, the quotable phrases. There's no place like home. I'm melting, and your little dog too. All of those, I would argue, are deeply embedded in our language, in our culture, quoted all the time. And so then Over the Rainbow.
I do love that song.
I mean, this song.
I do love that song.
Is still today, funerals, weddings.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's everywhere, right? I mean, we hear it everywhere. We talked about the technical part of this movie already. But if anyone who's listening to this show, the two of you who don't know us, don't know, I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. And so arguably my favorite movie, even though we're talking about my least favorite movie right now, but think about the parallels between the first Star Wars and Wizard of Oz. So farm boy, farm girl, both get transported someplace, whether it's far, far away or to Oz.
Raised by aunt and uncle, not parents, where it's easy.
Aunt and uncle. So Tin Man, C-3PO. Cowardly Lion, Chewbacca. Scarecrow, Han Solo. Toto, R2-D2. Obi-Wan and Glinda.
Are we going to get sued by George Lucas? Because
I
it's
hope
so
so.
George.
Well, he owes Chris $8, so.
Hey, listen, that's the notoriety that might, actually get people to listen to this podcast, because I think
George
it's worth
Lucas
listening.
owes my husband $8.
The villains, Darth Vader and the Wicked Witch, both dark robes, command armies.
Yeah.
I could keep going, but the parallels
Flying monkeys.
between those two, stormtroopers, flying monkeys, I think they're way too much.
Are you saying that the little people are the Jawas?
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
Oh, I did.
Okay. And then Andrea already said
some of them are Ewoks. Some of them are not.
But this inspired, Wicked, the books, the musicals. Yeah. So it's lived on through it inspiring those other stories. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Wizard of Oz is. I almost broke the rules. Yeah. No. Number 3, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I know I'm still confused about this part of the English language, but I'll take it. Andrea.
I think that this launched animation. It showed that an animated movie could be. It was a longie, not a shorty, not a quickie. Sorry, George Hamilton. It showed that you could take an animated feature and the masses would love it, and it could be. How long is Snow White? Like an hour and a half, maybe?
I think it's an hour and a half.
Like
137
minutes, 137. Okay,
I think.
So, like,
there's probably someone yelling at their radio right now, but I'm just completely wrong.
It is.
It probably
Sorry,
is Mel.
Mel.
Sorry, Mel.
Sorry, Mel.
Hour 23.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mel, I deserve it.
83. I said 87, so I was close.
Okay.
Well, I just don't want Mel yelling at me.
Tight 83.
But yeah, I think that this introduced so many ways, also like helped solidify Walt. And he was able to build a park that I was able to go to, but then I had to say no to Disney Plus because you tried to cancel Jimmy Kimmel. And fuck you, Disney, just don't fuck with my shit. And I still don't have Disney Plus, and my husband won't let me forget it because it's also ESPN and Hulu.
Michelle, anything about Snow White?
Yeah, hi. So people have very strong feelings about, I was just going to say, people have strong feelings about Walt, right? Some of them are quite justified. I say this, in this respect, in what we're talking about, he had a vision. He knew what he wanted to do. He was passionate about it. He didn't just bark orders and tell people to go do it. He was in the trenches, as it were, finding the right story, finding the right people to make the story, hiring the best talent to make it come true, and he did it, right? And then from that launched what we know now, right? And it wasn't a one-time thing. He had the behind the scenes of this, because listen, I love this movie. I love the story. But what's more for me is the behind the scenes of getting this made and seeing what happened after it worked. Right. I like the story behind that much more than I like the actual movie and story. And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I just like that there was a vision and he was dedicated.
And everybody said, you can't do it.
And he just
and
drew,
said,
he was just a cartoonist, right? With a big dream.
That is not what I thought you were going to say.
No. Whoa. Hey.
Oh, go ahead.
No, just you.
This whole show is off the rails.
It
and-
really is.
Uh,
It really is.
okay.
Forget the post-Christmas girl.
I try to be careful about, because I just went off on Gone with the Wind and my feelings about that, reading too much into things, because I try to be just about these things. But I did find there are a lot of people, I don't know how you classify a lot of people. There's a pretty large group of people with an opinion about this movie. And I've never thought of it because I'm a dum-dum. I watch Snow White and she sings and but I'm just bringing it up just for conversation, just to get it out there, but particularly about the dwarfs and the representation of the dwarfs. And I never thought about it. Maybe I'm bringing everybody down by bringing this up, but suggesting that they represent indigenous or marginalized people who are depicted as primitive and in need of civilization by the white protagonist, meaning they live away from the kingdom, they work in the mines, and so the idea of the others, and then Snow White shows up, and I guess there's this need for guidance, right? So even though the deal is that she's going to assume she's going to cook and clean and do all these female things for shelter, admonishing them to clean their hands, or wash their hands, clean the house. You had a look, Andrea.
Oh, you said female things, and I know you didn't mean it, but I'd say stereotypical of the time. And
well, it's 1930s. I mean, when I say female things, that's tied into my point is, what a female should be. This movie actually did, though, talk about what a female should be in the 1930s. All of the stuff about her is kind of what women were supposed to be.
So you're telling me that everybody at Turning Point likes this, right? Because I'm getting us no matter what, those fuckers can hate me.
I'll take any fight from anybody, whether it's sued by Lucas or Turning Point wants to come after us. Anything to kind of get the show on the map. But anyway, I had never thought about any of those points. I'm not saying I agree with them. I just thought it was interesting that I found several different articles that referenced
I've never heard this. So I have not heard it, but I can see what we're doing here. But I would like to say this. First of all, Walt didn't write this story. The brothers Grimm wrote this story. And the reason I was checking my phone, I was like, when was this published? 1812.
But there's one dwarf. There's no 7 dwarfs.
Okay, but still, like saying that I have GERD. Now I'm gonna get canceled.
I know, because you're channeling.
Michelle, can I just pause you for a second and just say, have you read the Brothers Grimm version of this?
A million years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
as part of a compilation with all the other.
I don't know what the hand symbols are.
There were 2, and then I realized what I did.
Because
there's Snow White, and there's the story of Snow White with a dwarf, and he's a little fucker, and ends up, I think, he dies in the end. And then there is this is the Brothers Grimm, and then there's the Brothers Grimm, Snow White and Rose Red. It is one of the stories. And they are 2 sisters. By the way, Snow White has blonde hair, blue eyes. Rose Red has brunette hair and dark eyes.
It's the 2 of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
But sorry, because Michelle was about to get it. I understand. Michelle was getting low key irritated. Michelle was channeling me.
I would like
and
to
Chris.
hear from Michelle.
Let me speak for her.
No, I just I think there's a little bit of we're just fucking constantly trying to find something to be mad about. right?
Yeah.
And I don't know that this was intentional, like, right? I mean, they're very much like, I don't know, they're just, I feel like sometimes we're just trying to find shit to be
Yes.
mad
Yeah.
about.
And
right?
you know I love to be mad and
maybe,
find shit to be mad about,
and
but I
maybe
agree.
it isn't great. Like if you interpret it as whatever your vision of it is, then I just don't watch it. I mean, they didn't. I don't know. I'm just trying to say, uh, I don't know.
I think you just
No,
said
you
it.
said it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just like, I think we're trying to find some reason to just break down shit that it doesn't mean
Not
what
everything.
right, not everything. I used to say this and get in so much trouble in English class. They're like, that's foreshadowing. That I'm like, I don't think every fucking thing in a book, like they meant for that to mean this. Scholars have said that, but I don't know that the author really wrote that saying, here's what I really mean. Some of it is super evident.
No, my
like,
favorite thing is when they take to an author and be like, what do you think about when they say this, that,
Right.
this? And Stephen King has said, because of course King's been like, I never thought of it, but okay, I can see where you
I
would
used
think
to get
that,
into
but
so much trouble
not
because
everything is.
not everything is an illusion of
I
something that's going to
agree.
happen later, or that they meant it to be this and they were trying. I mean, some things are obviously that.
Duh, but
Use foreshadowing and blah blah blah, but not everything is that. And I used to get in so much trouble, and I still feel that way. I don't think that, sometimes it's like, ooh, that's totally
Yeah.
obvious that they were trying to say this, but they're using this
Yeah.
story component to show you that without saying it. But I don't think that everything has to be like that. And I don't think a fucking story written in 1812 and then animated in the 30s was trying to say a woman's place is in the home. You know what I mean? Like, even though that's what it's depicting, I don't think their message was, and therefore
that did not
you
make me want to be a
ladies-
psalm.
you ladies stay in the house barefoot and pregnant and take care of the little indigenous people, right? Or civilize the little indigenous people. I do not think that's what any of this was
I
saying.
think sometimes when you're just like, God, I mean, sometimes
Can I just watch
cigar is
singing
just a
fucking
cigar.
squirrels? That's all
Yeah.
I want. I want to see the little.
Like I said, prior to looking this movie up for this podcast, that's all I watched. And I'm not saying I agree with any of this shit. Here's my thoughts. Not that anybody asked for them. On this list, we have narrowed down what I believe is a good list of 20 movies of the 30s down to a list of 10. When we talk about art, whatever the medium is, that medium, when ingested by different individuals, means different things.
Right.
And so to your point, I absolutely agree. If we're always looking for things to be mad about or looking for things that are going to offend us, then, I think everybody knows my belief that we're going to actually miss the real things.
Well,
but
and you're going to find it.
You'll
if
always
you're
find
looking
it.
for it, you're going to find it.
But the fact that so many people can look at these works of art that we're talking about, and they mean so many different things to them, I think only speaks to just how not powerful, but impactful they are.
Yeah.
And I think we're on the right track, no matter what your beliefs are. Maybe someone out there does believe that this movie depicts those things. Okay. It's not for me to say that they don't. Your point is valid. We don't need to be looking for it everywhere. But I mean, the fact that we can have a conversation like this about an animated movie from 1937 does speak to, again, what kind of a piece of art this is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was my point.
Cool.
But I mean, that was a lot of discussion about, and that was good.
Are we only on the third movie?
We're on number 4 right now.
Let's pick up the pace. Whoa! I got places to be.
Okay. I'm going to be looking for a new panelist here soon.
Don't talk
Number
my way in front of
4.
Michelle. She doesn't know what she did wrong.
Ah,
Number 4, Scarface.
Asshole.
Michelle.
I love. I'm about to break the rules. I think of the two gangster movies that were on this list, this one had the most like kind of action
Mhm.
grit. Like, I mean, they both did, but it was, for being a pre-code movie, and it was super violent, and I think maybe this was another thing where people
Touch of
hadn't seen.
incest or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, like, but just like, people had seen a bunch of war movies and that kind of violence, and now they got this kind of violence,
Yeah.
right? Like person to person, very personal, not fighting a greater thing, but like people, like a one-on-one kind of vengeance violence that's different than, fighting the good versus bad war kind of violence.
Yeah. Okay. Andrea?
She makes a good point.
Oh, boy. But to Michelle's point, the big thing, we talked a lot in this because it was the Hays Code was so prevalent, right? And so this movie, this depicted unprecedented levels of on-screen violence. I think that's the key: on-screen violence, sexuality, moral ambiguity, and then a lot of people say directly challenging the emerging production code, the Hays Code, and then forcing significant battles with censors before its release. So kind of the middle finger to all of this, like we're gonna push this as far as we can. And then
love that.
defining the archetype of so Tony Camante, this brutal, ambitious anti-hero driven by pure greed, sets a template for future mob movies. I think I don't think it's too much to say any mob movie today or going back is influenced by this movie. And so
This though, instead, this movie poster should be on fucking walls in fraternities, fucking rappers, instead of fucking Al Pacino is a Cuban. What the?
Hey, take it easy here.
Shitty movie, shitty script. That's why Oliver started doing coke.
But again, this movie, while celebrated by some, had a lot of pushback from Italian American communities for its stereotypical portrayal, prompting later calls for more diverse representations in media for Italian Americans. And I'm not saying that that's what led to the '83 version, but I think that there was a very...
I'm sorry.
I think there was a very specific direction they went away from Italian Americans and picked a different genre or a different
by
group
making him
by
Cuban.
making him Cuban. Yeah. I mean, I don't
wonder
know.
also if so Howard Hawks, who directed this, then directed a bunch of John Wayne movies.
Yeah.
So still one-on-one violence, right? But in the Old West, right? Bad
That's
guy,
okay.
good guy still, right? Still, but that's what I'm saying. I wonder if Hawks was like, I still want to do this kind of stuff,
But let me go all white.
but let me, maybe let's take it away from, the ethnicity specific, right? Although then John Wayne's out shooting Native Americans. So say what you will about that. But I don't know. I'm theorizing that maybe Hawks was like, okay, well, I don't want to dip my toe in that controversy, but it's still okay to kill Native Americans on screen. So let's go ahead and do that instead.
Not that
But a bunch of John Wayne movies.
Yeah, all the great Westerns, at least the John Wayne Westerns, most of them are Howard Hawks.
Yeah, this is true.
But I don't know I don't know how that happened. I'd have to.
I almost wonder if he's like, let me do acceptable violence.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
I could see that.
Number 5 is M. Andrea.
This is a fantastically made movie. I love the whole kangaroo court. I mean, it's a horrible subject. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, it's a good movie. I don't want to break the rules, but I think you'll know
Both
what
of you, and I almost did too, so I can't.
I know what I'm saying.
I can't admonish you too much. Michelle.
It's real good. It's stylistically, it's good. The storyline, the plot is, cringeworthy, but in a way that you want justice, and then you get it in an unorthodox way.
Yes.
I like the way it looks.
I just feel sorry for Peter Lorre.
Yeah.
I have to, because he was then typecasted for pretty much the rest of. It's even in the Warner Brothers cartoons, he's typecast. It's just, man, that guy could act. But
yeah, again, that's gonna be super hard.
I hope so. Yeah. So this movie, 1931, M. Why I bring up the year again is that there's German expressionism going on. At the same time, there's this Hollywood film noir going on. And this movie bridges those two different things. And so also just the serial killer genre,
Yeah.
as a whole, this widely affected that. Revolutionized sound and editing. We talked about the whistling, and again, trying not to draw too many crazy parallels, but the whistling part of this reminds me of the music in Jaws. I'm not saying that he took it from there, but every time you get the bomb, the sharks.
Yeah, you know that
you don't see the shark,
the bad guy's going to show up.
but you hear the music, and you know that
The leitmotif.
the serial killer's there.
Yeah.
Even though this is, Jaws. But anyway, the tropes. Andrea brought up the kangaroo court, which I love, but the unsettling killer, kangaroo court, the focus on psychology of the serial killer.
Yeah, with him saying, like, I have this burning, you guys choose to commit crime.
I can't help.
It's inside. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I really liked. I like that part.
Yeah.
And then the editing, how do I say there's overlapping editing that creates like a sense of visual chaos, maybe. I don't know if that's the right, but, and then comparing police and criminal efforts at the same time, that's how it's overlapping.
And the criminals do a better job of finding him than the police.
Yes, but they have more resources, but I don't want to, okay. Number 6, Michelle is Freaks. Sorry, Freaks. Michelle.
This is another one where, right, it was, where I do think maybe they're saying more than the initial, like when you're looking right at it, but not in a, it's so hard to say good and or bad things about this. And what I mean by that is, for people seeing this, again, we talked about all of this in 1932, they were absolutely freaked the fuck out, no pun intended, right? They literally were just like, could not handle it, right? But as a modern society watching this, it's so good. Like the way the story is told, the way it's put together, that who you're rooting for, right? And who you're rooting for, not based on appearances, but by their actions, right? You know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And I don't think audiences in this time period were ready for any.
I don't think they were, cinema wasn't evolved enough it was very black and white, and not because it was black and white, but I mean, it was like you had your hero, like Cleopatra, was that her name? Cleopatra, and I'm sorry, what's her fuck boy's name?
Hercules.
I mean, that's who you usually root for. People that look like that.
Right.
Not the people over here. This movie stuck with me after when we did this initially. Parts of it kept popping into my head for the rest of the day. And parts that were so fucking uncomfortable that I was like, I don't want to think about this right now. And that's all I got.
Yeah. So I think we talked about some of this, but I'll circle back to, I don't know the right word for this, but this movie used real sideshow performers. And is it disabilities?
No, disability isn't the nomenclature. And
but these
differently abled.
We know what you're saying.
But they
yes,
real. These are real people with and so number one, when you say that people were not ready for this, it started to challenge viewers who watch this movie. Have to ask the question about what's normalcy versus monsters. And then the monsters part is, are we talking about your inner monster? So you go back to the beautiful people in this actually are monsters.
Yeah.
And the others, the people that maybe look a little bit different or dealing with some of these are like actually, and I think Andrea brought this up too, but they were really close knit. They had a community. They took care. They brought her in.
They were the good guys.
They were the good people. And I mean, even I know you're joking, but the chant of "one of us" represents the line is "we accept her."
Yeah.
One of us.
Yeah.
That's the theme. That's belonging. They're bringing an outsider in, and this sense of community saying, "You're one of us now," and it doesn't matter how
he
you
loves
look.
you. We love you.
We love
Yes,
you.
It's fine.
And then, but again, at the end of all of that, it forces the audience to question who the real monsters are.
Right.
And so
I think people freaked out about this so much because it kind of revealed their inner assholeness. Because I mean, it's what, 32?
32.
Okay, you're still institutionalizing people with Down syndrome. Like, I mean, it was still a common thing. Like, you were still embarrassed if you did have a child that was in any way different. Like, these are the children you don't see. So I think people seeing that, they're like, holy shit, am I more like this Cleopatra chick where like, and wait, she's bad. Does that make me, I think people.
Yeah. To add to that, like, I think art, right? Art for the person who makes it, just generally, I think, is about expression, right? You're expressing something. Art for the people who take it in is about how you feel about it. So this movie is art in that, to your point, if you're watching this and you're in like, at first, like you got the ick about it, right? And then you realize, to Sean's point, these people they're a family, they're a community. They're actually like, these other people are gross because of their actions, right? Then it's evoking some kind of, you feel some kind of way about it. And that's art. And so for me, even though people say, like even M is an art movie, right? It's artistic. It's right. But this is an art movie. I think it really is a movie that wanted you to feel a way, and then you did. Like, mission accomplished, right?
Yeah.
Spread the banner. You did it.
Oh, congratulations!
World's best cup of coffee.
But Andrea, just confirming audiences, you're saying they'd rather stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror.
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful.
Number 7.
You were so gonna get lucky.
The Thin Man, Andrea.
I love this couple. I love everything about the. I love Nick and Nora. I love that Nick and Nora show that even where film didn't show before. Nick and Nora are like, we're married and we still like each other. We still get freaky. It's still all that, like, it's not. They're not now like that staid, boring couple, which is kind of what some of these films in the 20s and 30s, I'd say a majority of these films are like, once you get married, then you're a productive member of society and you have dinners and you do, like, totally boring. Like, what's his Penelope? Isn't that her name? Winthrop and Penelope?
Yes.
The chick he's engaged to at first.
Yes.
And then she's
on the ball. And so I love that this couple, plus they're like solving favorite, no matter, I know he's a murderer, but I loved Heart to Heart. And that was like one of my favorite TV shows ever. And I feel that's was it Aaron Spelling? Of course it was Aaron
But
Spelling.
I think you can say that show would not exist without this movie.
Yeah.
I
that
believe.
show would not exist without.
Well,
Yeah, I believe
Nora
that.
came from money, but she still was kind of an independent.
Yes.
She wasn't at home.
She was a flapper.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
she was involved.
Yes.
It was a modern-y.
And he never laughed at. It was never like, honey, I'm going to solve this crime. And then she was like, I'm going to solve it and show him I'm smart.
Yeah,
Instead,
no,
it's
they
like,
were they were partners in both ways.
and they drank a lot, and I love that even more too.
True.
Champagne Andy.
Champagne Andy is the
Yeah,
best.
I was with her last night.
Yes, you were.
Michelle.
No, I just think, Andrew's got it on this one, right? It set a prototype for things like Heart to Heart, Moonlighting, shit like that, where there's a strong female protagonist, a strong male protagonist, and they like each other.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Although Moonlighting, they feign that they don't, but
So we're in the 30s, right? And the Depression this is 34. The Depression is at its height. And this offers this escape. I mean, we've talked about it, but like you look at a witty, glamorous couple with money, I mean, they're at these parties, they're doing all of that. And so, I mean, you can go to this movie and just kind of forget about all of that and watch these two go through this. But again, for these hard drinking, sharp witted equals, and I like that they're equals. I mean, Nora, her unapologetic drinking, right? But that was a statement in prohibition we're not, too far out of. But I found it interesting because I love these two. Part of it is their chemistry, right? But MGM didn't want William Powell for this role. And most of it is because William Powell made 4 very popular movies in the 20s. Well, 29 to 33, but he played another detective, Philo Vance, and he was very recognizable as Philo Vance. MGM was worried about trying to have him be a different detective. But the director wanted Powell. He knew he was going to be perfect for it. He wasn't wrong. And then the director also wanted Myrna Loy, who MGM didn't want her either. So the director got his way, and these two, again, are like, their chemistry is just undeniable. They're so great together. And there's a lot of, if you can't tell, I love this movie. I'm not going to break the rules, but I love this movie. But there's a scene in the movie, and there's so many that I love, but the kind of running joke is that he married her for her money, and they both know it's a joke. And but there's a point where he gets offered the case, and she says that, that sounds like an interesting case. Why don't you take it? And his line, I'm trying to, but I haven't the time. I'm much too busy seeing that you don't lose any of the money that I married you for. But the look on her face when he says it is like, it's so perfect. But yeah, anyway, I feel like I took that over. Anything else about Thin Man?
I don't want to finish this list because then we got to vote.
Yeah, well, we're getting close. Okay. Number 8, Frankenstein.
You giggled.
Michelle.
Again, just for the genre of stuff it was leading into, and like, King Kong didn't make this list, but it's in the same kind of, right, here's a literal great big thing that is scary. And I mean, it's the start of kind of the whale era of those movies, the Universal monsters. Poor Boris Karloff, who just then is always the monster, right? Literally Frankenstein's monster forever. But this one is good for like the effects that were in it, the way it was edited to, kind of show you things that you could infer without actually showing them to you.
That is a wonderful way
that's my favorite movie trick, if you will, is when you show me without showing, and you let me like fill in the blanks, but it's obvious what happened.
I think it's way more heartbreaking to see
they do
the flowers.
They do it in this,
yes.
right? Like I love
the balloon.
Yeah, and all, like, I'm not a great big horror movie person, but my favorite genre of horror is that kind, not the blood and guts slasher film stuff, but the stuff where the ball is back, right?
But
the ball is
wet.
Right.
The ball
kind of
is
stuff
wet.
where I know what just happened because you're showing me without showing me, literally. My favorite. And they do that in this.
Yeah.
And yeah,
fantastically.
So, real like iconic scene. Like it's the scene besides It's Alive, I think, that people think about the most.
Yeah.
Andrea, anything else?
No.
About that?
No.
So I would say, because you just said it, but I think I would use the word powerful. And why I say powerful is because if you don't show it to me, but you give me enough elements, my brain puts it together based on my own thoughts and experiences and all of that. So we all experience it differently. But that's why you say slasher, right? We watch some Freddy, Jason, Michael, somebody stab somebody. And it's like, I see it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But if there was a way to do that with, like you don't show whatever and you got to let my brain piece it together. Number one, we all see it a little bit differently, but we all, I think, have a stronger emotional connection to it because it's coming
It's
from
more meaningful because you're tagging it, or your brain is anyway, to experience how you would experience that, or what has happened to you in the past, and so you put it together, and then it means more to you.
Very powerful.
Yeah,
that
quite.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the it's the opening scene of, and I don't know which episode of the 1990 version of It that ABC did the miniseries,
Mm-hmm.
and the woman is hanging up the sheets and it's blowing, and her little girl's on her trike, and then you briefly the little girl sees but then the woman looks and the trike's over on the side. You don't see him take the little girl. You don't have, but there's the trike with one lazy wheel just slowly.
Yeah, it's like an M with the balloon.
Exactly.
Like,
which is, I kind of feel like
it's my
he
favorite.
might have been like, I'm going to throw that in because
It's my.
It's making your brain fill in the blanks, and it makes it.
honestly,
very-
I feel that my brain fills it in way more than if I saw it.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, I think all of us are going to fill it in a way worse way than it could ever be shown. And that's what I mean about how powerful that is. But we got, the flathead, neck bolts, green, with stitches. That look, I mean, that was I don't know that it is anymore, but like a Halloween costume for forever, just a mask.
Yeah.
And
plastic one that you couldn't breathe in the
Yes, that
1970s.
one.
I wasn't allowed to have masks.
But going back to TV shows, like you would not have the Munsters without Frankenstein. That Herman Munster is Frankenstein. And so, you got the mad scientist, and we all, you said it's alive, but it just makes me think that Henry Frankenstein, it's alive, is still running. The hunchback assistant. Now it was Fritz in this movie, not Igor, but I was like Igor. But anyway, I think that's kind of everything. So, I did have another. I'm trying to bring controversy to this show, but
You think that's how
Too
we're going to
late.
get viewers?
I'm trying. But
Because I'm going to have the Jay Gatsby Club, whatever the fuck their names are, call me and be all upset.
the director
In a twist.
was able to create this deeply sympathetic, misunderstood creature, kind of shifting focus from just the killing machine. We talked about this in previous episodes, but now he's more of a tragic figure. And it got me thinking about Edward Scissorhands. And think about Edward Scissorhands and Frankenstein.
Mhm.
And
He created, kept us in a
It's
castle.
the same story.
I think it's the
And
same
it's
story.
right.
Okay, so I guess maybe it wasn't
It's the
controversial.
same story with a Burton twist on it.
I still don't understand why his fucking name was Henry. It's Victor in the book. Why the fuck did they change his name to Henry?
I
Did
wasn't
Frank
in
not
the
like somebody?
I wasn't in
named
the production
Victor?
meeting, but I don't know.
Wow. Okay. Michelle asked a question. You're like, I should find it.
Wait,
I asked a
now, don't
question
bring
and
me
you're
into
like,
this
bitch,
money
please.
call and this between y'all.
Fuck you
What
asked me for
the fuck
then.
you asked me for then?
Number 9, all quiet on the Western Front. Oh boy, Andrea.
This movie is so fucking heartbreaking. And this movie, I feel for the first time, and I hope we get more people that start to listen, because I want to be the person getting yelled at. I think this is the first time it was like, hey guys, war fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. And and if you don't go around with this rah, I'm so happy that I'm fighting, people call you a pussy, because fuck them school kids. Like, you lose people that you love, which I feel that, and I don't know if you did, like, I feel that the Pacific, which does not get the love it deserves, and what's the one that everybody loves that is really good? But
Band of Brothers.
Yes, I feel that both of those kind of harkened on this, like, hey,
War is hell.
war is hell. But I feel that this kind of opened up the door in saying war is hell, and just because you fight in it, it doesn't mean you fucking love it. It doesn't mean you love to kill other people. Like, this fucking sucks. And you are fighting for your country, but you can have more than one feeling about it. You don't have to be a fucking nationalist. And, like, that's how I see this movie.
Okay. Michelle?
Yeah, other than it's so long, I don't have a lot of notes on this. This is probably my favorite of the war movies, up to and maybe including Saving Private Ryan. Like up to Saving Private Ryan, this is my favorite. Like, and I've seen iterations of
Have
stuff.
you seen
right?
Coming Home in a Body Bag? Or Coming
Uh,
Home in a Body Bag 2?
no.
Oh, Donnie Donowitz?
Oh,
Or
God.
no,
So,
sorry.
and I say that seeing, having like, uh, all the iterations of the wars, right? Full Metal Jacket, the Deer Hunter, those kind of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Like, I think for depiction of war, I guess I'll say that for the depiction of what the war was like, for me, this is it, or what a war
Yeah.
is like.
Yeah.
Being in it,
Yeah.
not romanticizing what it is to fight for a side one way or the other. And, I said it last time, I say it again. If the Nazis hate it, I love it. And they fucking hated this movie.
Yes, they did. Back to Andrea's, both of your point. So World War I was different than all the others because of trench warfare, right? And there was a little bit of that in World War II, but like World War I was trench warfare. That's how this war was fought. Prior to this movie, there was this romantic idealism, or not even that. It's just they romanticized war and the pride of fighting for your country, all the things Andrea said. This movie, because it really established a benchmark for realistic war films, it showed raw depiction of trench warfare, disillusionment, and then what they called then of shell shock, now what we call PTSD, but the psychological trauma of soldiers, showing the human cost of war. It's hard, right?
Children, really, in most cases, all these soldiers were still quite young.
Yeah.
Right. So you're taking a developing mind and literally putting them face to face with a person they're going to kill.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like the don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes thing was like, you were, yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's horrifying, but it's the truth of it, right? For people who were at home, doing the drives and whatever. And they're like, Johnny will be home because, and what a good boy he is. And meanwhile, Johnny is, Krusty is coming in a dirt hole, not knowing if the next second he's going to get fucking killed. And that is the stuff they don't realize or recognize. And this really was trying, I think, to literally bring it home.
Well, I think that the message of this movie is that war destroys everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Oh, God.
Or you could say no one wins a war, I guess. But I don't know. Any way you want to say it, it's like, okay, number 10.
Yeah, to transition.
It happened one night. Michelle.
Yeah, again, really like the opposite end of the spectrum from what we were just talking about. Screwball comedy, great chemistry between the two, very, fun, even with all the tropes that are in it. I just, this one's fun, and it is very Frank Capra, like in style, and it's just, it's good.
Yep.
I think this is one where I think about this a lot, because I feel like writers don't get the recognition. Like when we watch movies, we just think about how it looks, right? And the storyline is good. But I think when you say, well, then, I think people leap to who directed it, right? Rather than who wrote
But
this.
somebody had to write it.
Wrote this film.
Yep.
Right? This is so good. The dialogue is good. Like some people get a little more for it now than they used to, but I don't think, I think about like this story is tight and fun, and it did what it was supposed to do, and then it looks, it looks like it looks because Frank Capra. But it the chemistry, between Clark, the characters are good, right? But the story is fun, and I don't think writers. So this one for me is a writer's kind of romp movie. Right.
Yeah.
And we talked about like the parallels between like things like War of the Roses and things like that, where the two characters, you know, are a little
Mhm.
bit at odds, but in the end, it's fun. I love it's great.
Andrea?
What she said.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. So I think we were talking just the other night about road movies. I love road movies, and this popularized the road movie, the element. But this is the first film to sweep the Oscars, the Big Five. And then, like you said, the relationship here, you know, strong-willed heiress and the cynical but charming rogue, and that template is
It's fun.
it's fun. It's been used a lot for a reason because it works. So yeah, I don't have a lot. It's just a good movie, but I mean, there seems to be a theme in this of like what would not exist without it. But I don't know that When Harry Met Sally would exist.
Oh no.
There's
Sure
a long
Thing.
list of
The Sure Thing wouldn't exist.
the Sure Thing. Good pull. It's a good reference. Okay, so now the fun part.
Nope. Fun for who?
For me.
Could we define fun?
Fun for me. Okay.
Let's just skip a category in this decade and launch all 10 of these and call it a day.
Yeah, we can do that.
The capsule only fits 5.
Oh,
Son of-
There's logistical limitations
I
here.
literally have stars by everything.
It only
Who
fits 5.
designed this capsule?
I did.
Was it?
I did.
Oh, okay. I trust you.
Okay, so number 1, Gone with the Wind, Andrea.
I'm trying to hide my notes.
Okay. I don't know. Yes.
Okay, Michelle.
Yes.
Number 2, The Wizard of Oz, Michelle.
Yes.
Andrea.
Yes.
Number 3, you can't say yes to all of them, by the way, y'all.
Well,
Why not, Mr. I'll break the ties?
Hey, I'll break. There'll be my 5 movies, and this won't be any fun.
I don't like that.
Number 3, Snow White, Andrea.
Yes.
Michelle.
Yes. Now it sucks.
Now it sucks.
Number 4, Scarface, Michelle.
I have to say no.
Andrea.
That's funny because I was saying no.
Okay, number 5, M, Andrea.
No.
Michelle.
I also have to say no.
The pain, and maybe I am
There's
I am
something
a
wrong with
sadist.
you.
It does. I mean, this hurts.
6, Freaks, Michelle.
Yes.
Andrea.
I realize that only leaves me with one. It's not great.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, so Freaks, Andrea.
I don't feel it best embodied like the 30s. That's what this is the hard thing. I have to admit, sometimes I'm like, yeah, but it's one of the best. And I'm like, that's not what we're fucking doing here.
If an alien popped this into a player and watched a movie, would they get that it was from the 30s? Would it represent the decade for them?
Well, that's going to make some of my other choices easier. I know. I always try to keep that in mind, but
I love the format of this podcast. Love it. Number 7, The Thin Man, Andrea.
This hurts. No.
Michelle?
oh, I have this as yes, but now I'm like,
Well, as much as I was saying I love this podcast, it just came to an end. The show's over. You don't put The Thin Man in this capsule, I quit.
I know, but you know what? But
I'm kidding.
But originally I had it as yes. But now
I have it as yes.
I'm kidding.
I
don't
know,
want.
We'll have to debate because she has a no and I have a yes.
But hold on.
And now
Oh.
she has a no and I have a
Yep.
yes.
but
So wait, hang on. Thin Man, let's go back. Andrea is a no.
that's what I'm trying to interrupt and tell you. I don't know if I'm a no because this is when it started.
And
switched
Michelle,
to
you
yes.
are
I
a.
switched to yes.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
okay. Michelle, you
I
are a
was
yes.
yes on that.
Okay, so Thin Man. But now I shouldn't have joked about it because I feel like I pressured you.
Me?
Yes,
You can't pressure me, son.
that's a good point. Number 8, Frankenstein, Michelle.
Well, I've already picked 5, so I can't.
You haven't. There's
I
4.
haven't. Okay.
There's 4 on here. You were a yes on Freaks, but Andrea was a no.
Okay, so I'm saying no to Frankenstein.
Okay, Andrea.
I'm saying no to Frankenstein.
All Quiet on the Western Front, Andrea.
I am saying yes.
Okay, Michelle.
I'm also saying yes.
Okay.
See?
So Michelle, you're dropping Freaks?
Yes.
Okay. Then well, there's no room for It Happened One Night.
I was a no on it. Just
Okay, so that wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
That was fun. This is
Was
interesting.
it?
Yeah, so here's our 5. I have Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, The Thin Man, and All Quiet on the Western Front.
yeah, because I think they all embody things that
Things of
started
the
in the
30s.
30s that you go back and say, that's when the husband and wife, that's when wars, like, yes, and it sucks
Mm-hmm.
because 5 that got left behind, and 5, I
I can see your thumb. in it.
okay.
Okay.
um,
5.
the 5 that got left behind are fucking masterpieces, but
Yeah.
Great movies.
This
but-
was a hard.
what's our next one? Is it books?
Oh God.
We don't have anything but fucking Fitzgerald on there, do we?
We do. Okay, folks. So listen, those are our 5. And as you could hear, it was a little painstaking, but I will tell you this. I want to wrap with, I think that these 5 movies that our panelists voted on and selected actually do best represent the 1930s. And that is the point of this podcast. So for both of you, I'm sorry for the pain and anguish. Not really, but thank you both for everything that you bring to the podcast, but what you brought to this one. I really appreciate it. And until next week, take care of yourself, and we'll see you then.
So swing to the future, the past in our sight. We regret nothing, the capsules tonight.